And we live. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Watch Your Mouth Reviews. This is your boy James, where I'm here to give my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. It's not going to happen in this video, but that's all right. We'll live to fight another day. Joining me as always is my co-host, Mrs. Besh. I'll say what's up to her.
Hello, beautiful people. Like, share, and subscribe.
Yes, please subscribe. And while you're subscribing to me, go ahead and subscribe to Mrs. Best's channel. Her information is here as well as my description box. Any reviews or recaps I do not do on my channel personally, it's because we go over here and cover it with Mrs. Best. We have Love and Hip Hop, both Miami and Atlanta, currently reviewing now, and Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. We are on it, y'all. Make sure y'all subscribe to her channel too. We are here for Married to Medicine Season 11, Episode 9, From the White House to Key West. This is a review and recap. Oh, this was quite an episode, I will say. It was a little bit more of a filler, more than some things going on, but I did like it. I did like it as well. So the show actually opens up with the ladies going with Dr. Jackie and Dr. Heavenly. They're at her house. And Dr. Jackie's making daiquiris, alcohol free because, she don't drink. And she tells Heavenly that they are going to the White House. And Heavenly's like, who? She goes, well, me and Simone, we were invited to speak on the overturn of Roe versus Wade. Every year, the White House does a conference about it and how they're overturning, and they want to make sure they, speak on it and get more people involved. So they invited us. And I thought with Simone being the OBGYN that she would want to go. And Heavenly feels some kind of way about it. She's like, I just helped you with your bed gown and everything. You're not going to invite me. But then Dr. Jackie comes around and tells her, I'm just playing with you. You're coming too. And she goes, really? Okay. And I feel like Dr. Heavenly wasn't as excited as I would have been if someone offered me the chance to go to the White House, because I've never been. So I would love to go and see it, honestly. I would. So, Mrs. Best, how did you feel about this opening scene at Dr. Jackie's house?
Jackie did that because she knew Heavenly would be a little bit bothered. But it does make sense to have the other OBGYN come versus a dentist.
Absolutely, because
And
it was.
I didn't feel nothing too much about the scene. Honestly, we could just skip past it all. Because I was bored.
Well, we're not going to skip past all. We got to talk about a little bit of it. So the ladies then go out to Washington, D.C. It's the Golden Girls. And they're giving Heavenly, before they go to the White House, they're giving Heavenly, the rundown. Don't be up in there cussing people out. Don't be giving people your phone. Talk about put your number in the phone and everything. And I'm like, that's networking. Like, how you going to tell her?
I didn't like that. Because this
Yeah.
cast has a habit of trying to single Heavenly out as somebody who's still a little bit ghetto, ratchet, don't know how to act in
Yeah.
spaces. But Heavenly's one of the most successful and humble
Out of a lot of them. So,
out of a
yes.
lot of them. So it's kind of like Heavenly, of course, knows how to act. I think she puts on the front for the show, but I didn't like how they did all of that. If anything, you need to tell Simone and her overbite to shut the hell up. She'll say, hello, Miss President. We'll hear it from across in the Oval Office. I'm telling you, they told the wrong person to be quiet.
They did, because I felt like, damn, that's messed up. And I wouldn't mind Heavenly trying to make some connections in the White House and give people her number or vice versa. Hey, Shady, thank you for being here with us, love. We appreciate you.
Hello.
That's okay if you watched the episode. It wasn't really much you missed. It really wasn't. But yeah, and so they go up in there, and Chrissy Teigen is the host, which I thought was interesting for her to be the host. But okay, I get it. Once again,
This
she
was
had.
during all of them shenanigans from when this was filmed, when they're prepping for a new election and all of that craziness. Because it seemed like politics now, regardless if you red or blue, they like to use celebrities as a way to convince people to vote.
Mm.
Because why is Chrissy Teigen there? I don't know her for nothing other than Sports Illustrated and being married to John Legend. I don't know nothing else.
I didn't know who Chrissy Teigen was at all until John Legend happened. I didn't know nothing about her. So that's why I knew she was John Legend's wife. I didn't know what she did for a living. I didn't know what she was before John Legend happened. I just know she was his wife. That's all I know about her. But she did a good job. She asked great questions, and it's still crazy that our president elect was the same president that we're now having this conference. Life is something else. Ain't it something else? It is something else, I tell you. So the ladies go and they meet Vice President Kamala Harris for the first time. They've never met her, and it was so good to see it. I loved every part of it. I loved how they got selfies with her and everything. I know her from her lipstick by way of I don't even know her from that. So I mean, that was that same lady. Oh, okay, all right, cool. But I thought it was a nice thing to have a conference about. It's just sad that we can't put that law back to where it was. I just felt like that's crazy to me that that's never even been considered. So, where this goes, I don't know. But to hear them talk about, Simone talking about she's had, patients where their babies had a number of defects and they could not terminate the pregnancy and they had to carry the baby. Like, just to hear this, it's like, are we really the land of the free? Really? Because this seems like we are in the land of making sure women are tormented. And it's so sad. It's so sad. So I do appreciate this thing. Now, because we are in a whole nother presidency term, I don't know how this is going to translate. And I don't know how this is going to move, but I hope it does move something. That's all I'm going to say for this. Is there anything else you want to add to this, Mrs. Best?
Yeah, as a woman, unfortunately, years ago, I had to deal with the sexual assault myself, and having the right to choose whether to have an abortion, utilize things like Plan B, and all of that really did matter for me personally. So I am glad that they are bringing an awareness to it. However, I want to see maybe Simone take the front lines of this, because when it comes to things like patient care, bedside manner, she has a better reputation. She's also a mom, so I feel like that will help her to relate to others. Jackie, I still kind of feel a way about what she's going to do, because how can you fight for the woman that you don't believe when she comes into your office with a concern? So to me, that's conflict of interest a little bit with Jackie, and it's unfortunate, but I do think of that. But I'm glad that they're bringing this to light, um, and I hope that all women, eventually get the right to choose, because no man in government should be telling us what to do with parts they don't have. That's how I feel.
I agree. I definitely agree. So moving forward from there, everyone's preparing for the trip. And we have Quad at her house with King, and she's telling him, this is a trip where her ex-husband is going to be at, and she want to make him aware. And I was reading a lot of people's comments this morning about, Quad still care about Dr. Greg, and it was like, if me and my current are having to be around my ex because this is my job, of course I'm going to feel him and hey, my ex is going to be there. Look, don't worry about it. I
People
got her.
confused. When she was married to Dr. G, she don't really love him. She's a gold digger.
Right.
Then she leave Dr. G on her own and moves on, and now y'all think that she in love. Make up your mind. Pick a side
What
and
is it?
stay
What
there.
is it? What is it? Like, what do y'all want her to do? Do y'all want her to be in love with the man or do y'all not? But it was like, I was so sick of reading those comments because I was like, people,
This is why she didn't share him for
yeah,
a while and kept it to
absolutely.
herself. And that's the thing. A lot of
And
times the
I'd have
audience,
kept doing it. I'd have kept until, like, for me, I would have kept hiding him until I got off the show. Especially if this is a real relationship and, this is really her life and really her love and everything like that. I wouldn't have brought him on the show. I just wouldn't
because
because
neither of them. Now that she's dating someone different, I'm like, okay, if you're gonna date someone who's not anywhere near the medical industry in any way, not in sales, not nothing. Now it's like, okay, if you're gonna be with your happily ever after Quad, then we don't need you anymore. And I'm a huge advocate and fan of Quad, and have felt like she should stay on the show. I've said it on these recaps before. But now that you have your little happily ever after, kind of how Cynthia Bailey left when things was good with her and hoe ass Mike Hill, like it's kind of the same thing with Quad. You're not married to medicine. You barely get along with most of these women. They try to kick you out every other season of the group. So just go around them, because as long as Dr. G and Sweet Tea are here, I feel like they'll keep Quad on here just for the unspoken beef and the discomfort. And I don't want it no
mhm,
more.
me either. But speaking of Sweet Tea and Gray, they're also at their house packing up as well. And Sweet Tea mentions, that Quad will be there and how does he feel? And Dr. G's like, I'm not going. I'm not going. And she goes, well, you have to go. Like, don't let her ruin everything. And she goes, we sweet and savory. Now, it's funny she mentioned that because I was watching another YouTuber recap this same show. And they brought to my attention, because I had no idea about this, that Quad's seasoning, SASS, she has a sweet and savory blend. And I was like, interesting that she would call it sweet and savory. So let's be messy for a little bit because I do have it on Amazon right here and I'm about to purchase it. So it says SAS all purpose sweet and savory season blend. So I said, sweet tea, don't let me find out that you got this seasoning up in your house and you call it that over Quad. Because then I'm really gonna talk about you. Mrs. Best, what you think?
15.99 for 8 ounces. Jesus Christ.
I
Kind
think
of
it's her.
seasoning.
I can't find it on her website. I was on Quad's website and I can't find that particular blend. But yeah, I
No,
found
I'm
it.
just looking at the price like, my God, inflation. But I wouldn't be surprised. We know that Sweet Tea watched the show prior. We know that she probably was invested in the storyline with Quad and Greg off of her saying, "You want a baby, huh?" And dropping that in the DM. She says she happy to be engaged because she got access to the money, a little bit of access. So it wouldn't surprise me if Sweet Tea used this show, especially since she want to teach classes and seminars on how to play an old man and snatch him up. It seems. I definitely would not be surprised if Sweet Tea had seen that prior and was trying to make like some type of a little like joke. I really don't think she's bothered that much by Quad. It's very clear that Quad does not want Dr. G, and she's for the most part been polite to Sweet Tea. I feel like the person who acts weirdly around Quad is Dr. G. So I don't know. The whole dynamic is weird. I don't feel like he that into her, and I don't feel like she that into him. And they always talking about Quad. If they're not talking about her in their scenes, they talking about her in confessional. If she's not talking about her in confessional, she's on Facebook Live, Instagram Live, YouTube Live. She's constantly talking about specifically Quad and Dr. G. So I want Sweet Tea to sip some tea and shut the hell up.
I'm just saying, silence is gold. But I just thought that was really interesting because I never really would have put that together. I said, not her doing sweet and savory, and Quad already got it in a season blend. But okay, sweet tea, we'll give you that one. But I just thought it was funny. The next thing we see is Heavenly at her house. Her and Dr. Damon are packing. He leaves the room and she calls Phaedra. And she called Phaedra to let her know that she had invited Apollo and Shireen. And I said, Dr. Heavenly, why? Why? Why would you
Married
invite?
to Medicine is taking felons now, I see.
I'm just married to medicine. I mean, y'all is really, why are y'all making me defend Phaedra? Because y'all know that's wrong and that's foul. But Phaedra says that she ain't got no problem with it. They're in a good space, so she's cool. She said just let it be a surprise. And Dr. Levy, she gonna do all that. So yes, that's basically it. And we see Phaedra on a date with Sheik, the guy she met at Sweet Tea's Sweet and Savory. I'm gonna say it just like that every time. Sweet and Savory event. And he brings up how he knows her ex. And I'm like, that is such a weird conversation to have on somebody I'm just meeting, I'm just dating, that my ex. She asked if they were friends, and he said no, he just sees them socially. And I said, I would imagine Atlanta is small. So, of course, you're going to run into the same people over and over again. But that's not something you bring up, sir. Now, if you was friends with them, yes, bring it up. But if you just see him socially, why even bring that up? Because everybody sees everybody. I don't know, Mrs. Best, how do you feel about that?
He mentioned being closer with Apollo's wife, the
Oh,
guy. But and that for me was the part where I was like, okay, you say you're not close with them, but then you say you're close to the wife though. So if you're close to that man's wife, I'm pretty sure you'd be close to him. But the guy that she was on the date with, bringing it up, I think that was the right thing to do, to say, hey, I know your ex. He probably should have done it like at the speed dating versus, when they're on the actual date, which was a little weird. I feel like he was kind of caught in something. Phaedra don't give a damn about Apollo. But what concerns me is that he is friends with the wife. Not because I think anything is happening, but if y'all watched our recaps of couples therapy, Apollo and his wife, I think her name is Cherie, were on there, and she's just as problematic as he is and
Oh,
messy. So I really don't trust it. But if Phaedra's smart, we know Phaedra ain't dating that man. He ain't got enough money
well,
for Phaedra.
actually, in today's time, because I looked it up, she is still dating him in today's time.
Oh God.
Mm-hmm. And mind you, she filmed this months ago, so she's still dating him to this day.
Wasn't she just in Africa with her booty and the beads? With Portia and her booty and the beads?
That man is African, so maybe he went along with her.
Oh God.
Yep,
Phaedra.
she's still dating that man to this day. She said it. So
I
she said,
would not trust that worth a damn.
me
But
either.
okay.
I feel like the girl, you
But
have
Phaedra's a
faith.
lawyer. She'll write her own prenup. Probably get
I
some
don't think
from
she'll
him.
marry him. I think this is just for, maintenance purposes, oil changes and lubricant refills. I think that's really what this is. I don't think this is anything but that. Because I honestly, because Phaedra, she don't give me the type that she go without it every night. She don't give me that at all. So I'm just going to say that this is for, oil changes and maintenance and lubricants. And I'm not mad at Phaedra at all. Um, Moving on from there, the couples are gearing up to go to Key West, Florida. And no, I have never been to Key West, Florida, even though I only lived an hour and a half from it. I've never been. And I'm so mad because the person I was with at the time, he really wasn't for all that. Like, as far as taking, at least as far as I know, he might have wanted to take me. I don't know. But as far as I knew in the relationship, he wanted to do the same old things. So we never made it to Key West. So to see them at Key West, it's actually a lot prettier than I thought it was. And this could be just one part of the island with good camera footage, but it was a very nice resort. Simone and Cecil are already there, and they're handling in, embracing everyone coming in because they've already set up the activities and the assignments. So Heavenly comes up because Heavenly has the room keys. So she's giving everybody their room key, and she sees, Sweet Tea and Dr. Greg, and she goes, "Hey, Letitia," and she gives her a hug. And they're matching. They had matching outfits on, which was funny. No one really paid attention, or maybe they did, and production didn't, blur it out. But they had all matching outfits. It was funny. And then she hands a key to Contessa, and she gives Contessa a hug, and Contessa just straddles her to the ground, which I thought was hilarious. And Contessa said, "Oh, there was a banana peel. I had slipped and fell." And Contessa said, "You think you slick? That was your only opportunity that you had to drag her to the ground and hold her there for a minute because you want to take that anger out." I see you, Contessa. I do. But I thought it was a really cute moment at the same time. I thought it was really cute. And even Heavily took it in good fun. She has like, "See, this is the Contessa that I love. This one right here. That other one, I don't like too much." And I agree with Heaven because Contessa definitely does have the Gemini spirit of split personality. I'm sorry to call y'all Geminis that. I know, yeah, I know I got a couple up in here. But this is where the June Geminis, especially, be showing that trait. Mrs. Best, how did you feel about that scene?
I am a Gemini and I do have several personalities. It's just the way it is. And that's okay. I think we should embrace it, you know. I'd rather have
I think we should embrace it, but not to a point where it's problematic, where it's causing rifts in between friendships.
This is true. This is true. But that is also not something with the signs. It doesn't matter what sign you are. Every sign got a negative trait that just pushes people away. Embrace it, but also learn how to control and express it in a way that is mature and for adults to do. You know, Contessa ain't there yet. Okay. I keep telling people when you get a degree in anything, whether you have your bachelor's or your doctorate, you are skilled in a specific subject, not life. You know? So I definitely feel like Contessa, one, wanted to get her to the ground, and two, I felt like that was a good way to break the ice on Contessa's part because Contessa knows she full of shit and her whole plight with against and with Heavenly. Y'all made peace and now you randomly decide that you upset again because the cameras is back up. And then what's funny is what the hell is her husband's name? Is it Dr. Scott?
Dr. Scott.
Yeah, Dr. Scott don't even seem too bothered or offended by Heavenly.
Thank you. Yes, because
And
that
that's what I noticed this whole episode. So if he's not tripping and he's supposedly the reason that you so upset, well, if your husband ain't mad, then hey. Let
She
it
said I never have
go.
a problem with anything. That's what made me feel like, Contessa, you full of shit. You full of shit, and it's exactly what I've been saying this entire time.
That does tell me though for their marriage that the fact that he's not upset about what was said, maybe he
Should have been.
acknowledged it and maybe it's changing some things because if you really not doing them things, why you so cool on it? So,
Yes,
but Contessa
exactly.
is full of it. She's just
She
full of
is.
she
And I
irritates me.
y'all, she irritated me for a lot of different reasons. And I'll explain a little bit more when we get further in the scene. But everyone's going to their rooms. The rooms were okay. I was like a little small sided, but free trip. So what can y'all say? So Simone had broken up the couples in teams plus Phaedra. So the teams Starfish. Am I saying this right? Because I already forgot the names of the. Okay, I'm just gonna go by the color because I forgot the name of the teams already. But Simone's team, they're the purple team. She has the new couple. They think they slick with this shit too. I saw this. They have Dr. Mimi and Steven on their team with her and Cecil. And I feel like, oh, y'all trying to get an easy win because he's an athlete. She looks competitive as well. And also, side note, I was watching another YouTuber's video that said that Dr. Mimi and Steve look just alike. And I didn't notice it at first, but
They
then when
look like brother and sister. I thought that when I first
oh,
saw them.
I was like, oh. And this is where in biology, I tell people all the time, try to do the ancestry and try to learn your bloodline. Because here's the thing. I feel like a lot of reasons why people in this day and age are having a hard time conceiving now is because there's a mix of your genetic traits where you might be with somebody you're related to, or your parents were with somebody they're related to.
There are documentaries on that and people
Hmm.
experiencing that. Also, my mom did our little ancestry, traced it, and found out she had a brother. Turns out my grandfather was lying to us, knew he had a son, never acknowledged him. I said, oh, what kind of crazy stuff is that? And my mom had come in she had crossed paths with her brother before and not known it. So
Wow.
I was like, "Oh shit, this is like the
Yes.
movies when it happened." She went to therapy because I get they crossed paths at one point, but you never know. You never know. They do
Yeah,
look just
exactly.
alike.
Exactly. And that's why I tell people all the time, like, it's okay to one, know your blood type. You need to know it anyway for health reasons. And then two, you need to know your genetic makeup as well. Because directly speaking, you could be with somebody like there's other disorders you can give to your children unknowingly just because you're with the wrong person that you're not supposed to be with genetically. So that's where I tell people you need to start looking into those things because as we're starting to become more of an interracial, like more people are starting to become interracial and everything like that, who knows that when slavery happened, how that could have transpired. So we need to be careful, just saying. But it was just interesting seeing those two because they look alike. Like they could be brother and sister. Like they really do look alike. It's scary. The green team, which is my favorite team, were Dr. Heavenly, Dr. Damon, Dr. Contessa, Dr. Scott. The reason why I love the green team is because they're the only couples that are dual MDs. And then also, y'all remember I said that Contessa and Heavenly were my favorite friendship. Out of all of the group, they were my favorite friendship. And seeing this brought me back to old times with them. Because I think if they weren't beefing, this is how it would still be, regardless of what everybody else thought. They were always going to be on the same team. So I love that. The blue team was Quad, King, Toya, and Eugene. And I thought that was really weird, but it was fun for what it was. And then the last team we had was Dr. Jackie, Curtis. We had Dr. G and Letitia, and Phaedra. Now,
All the couples that got the weakest connections. That
yeah,
way they can acknowledge Phaedra as their respective third wheels.
exactly. Exactly. So they all sit at the table. They're meeting up and they're all looking at who they're going to be on a team with. And that's where Contessa says that, because Toya made a comment. She says, well, if you're looking for people to resolve issues, why don't you just put Contessa, Heavenly, and T in a room together? And Contessa said, okay, if you do that, then only two of us are making it out alive. And then me and T are just going to go out for drinks later. And Scott just shook his head and looked down. And that right there let me know that Contessa's dragging this on. His reaction let me know Contessa's really dragging this on. Because once again, like me and Mr. Best said, he seems to not have no problem with Heaven. So what the hell is the
They
issue?
could also, because when I saw that, I also felt like it's probably that, but maybe Contessa sold it to him as the more we talk about Heavenly and my beef with her, the less we got to talk about and have the cameras in our business. Because I'm thinking back to how Scott was a couple seasons ago, and he never was the most comfortable around the camera. Now he want to be fake ass rapper and all this extra stuff, but he's very, very quiet when it comes to their beef. So I'm like, maybe they had some sort of weird agreement off camera as a married couple. But if until I see this man flip out, I want Contessa to shut the fuck up and put her cigarette out. She is on my nerves. She really is.
I'm telling you, because it just and as I said, it makes me mad that y'all really let this friendship do this. Like it really makes me mad that y'all really Contessa, especially, really let this friendship go haywire like this. It really pisses me off. But they're going to their first activity, and their first activity is a relay race in the water. So we're going to have a paddle boat, two paddle boats, and a kayak. Each team is going to have that. So they break it up. Curtis is going to sit this one out because he can't fit on either one because he's way too tall. And I say, ain't that convenient? So Dr. Jackie and Phaedra are going to do the kayak, and Dr. G and Sweet Tea are going to do the paddle boat or the paddle, whatever that shit was called, y'all. And on the blue team, King and Quad are going to do the kayak, and then Toy and Eugene are going to do the paddle boating thing. And then on the green team, Contessa and Heavenly are going to do the kayak, while Dr. Damon and Dr. Scott are both going to do the paddle boat. Scott's going to go last to bring it in. And I was like, see, this is what I'm talking about. I feel like they're going to win too. I do. I feel like they're going to win. And then on the outskirts, we have Cecil and Steve. They're going to do the paddle boat, and then Simone and Mimi are going to do the kayak. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting to see how this is going to go. This is going to be interesting to see how this is going to lead. Mrs. Best, who do you think is going to win out of the equation?
Um, maybe Mimi and her little man. I don't know.
I
I'm
feel like
just
with
like,
Simone's
who's
wild mouth, that
letting
might
Simone and them plan couples trips still? Hell, these couples had to help them.
I feel like with Simone and them being paired up with Mimi and Steve, I feel like Simone's mouth is gonna get in the way. I do. I feel like all that hollering she about to do, that's gonna tear
It's
people
gonna
up.
stress him out. I can't stop laughing.
I do. I do. I feel like that's what's gonna happen. The reason why I said I feel like Heavenly and Contessa's team is going to win is because like they work well with each other. Like don't let their beef fool y'all. They work well with each other. So it's
I
going
agree.
to be interesting. I feel like the team that's going to get last place though is going to be Dr. Jackie and Sweet Tea. I feel like that's going to get last place for sure.
Jackie probably uses that rowing machine at the gym. I feel like it's either gonna be them or Toya and Eugene and Quad and her boo last. I don't know why I just feel that way.
I don't know. We'll have to see, y'all. We'll have to see. It was
Because Toya and Eugene's communication is so bad that we done watched them build a house and move out of several others. Okay, so their communication run back to the IRS. That's how bad that is. So sometimes I worry about them doing activities such as this.
hey DM Rods. Kamala did not do her research on Dr. Jackie.
She Kamala was here in California, and don't nobody here in California really like her. Uh, of course, she didn't do her research.
Oh no, she did her research. She didn't do the negative research.
The White House don't care about that. She says something negative about black women. The White House do not care.
Right. She did her research, trust me. It's just not on the stuff. She did the research on the popularity.
Yep.
And that's what she did the research on. She did her
Mhm.
research. She just didn't do it on everything. Simone and her over by hollering in my space is a hard no. I wouldn't want to be. I wouldn't be on. I wouldn't want to be on Simone's team because I'm telling you, it's the moment that She literally started hollering that paddle. You know how you do like the water like this? It accidentally knocked her in the head. I'm telling you because I can't. There's only so much of that
Uh-uh.
hollering I can
I
take.
wouldn't be able to think either. She make me nervous because it looked like her teeth gonna come alive and come out her mouth, and I can't.
Like it. Yeah, it looks
I
exactly like
cannot.
that. I look exactly like that clown in it. That's exactly what when he get ready to eat and all them teeth start coming out. That's exactly what
Mm.
Simone remind me of. Is that exactly? She need to play his wife in the series they finna put out. Play his wife, Simone. You can do it.
Lord
All that
have
hollering,
mercy.
yes, you can do it. But what team would you want to be on, Mrs. Best?
Listen, if it comes to rowing, honestly, Phaedra. She's a strong swimmer. She's obviously done water activities. I would want to be on a team with Phaedra. That's one thing I would prefer to do. And even if we lose, she probably gonna bullshit our way into a win, or she gonna figure out a way for us to complete it without actually having to do the work.
See, I was going to go with Toya and Eugene, but when
Mm-mm.
Toya said in her confessional that King is the only man in shape on her team, I was like, see, there you go. So I guess I'm gonna have to go over there to Contessa and Heavenly, just because I know Contessa is ex-military, and I know she's going to want to take this home.
She gonna take over as the leader and start hollering at people,
Yeah,
but in an organized fashion versus Simone just hollering every thought that comes to her head.
I think Heavenly is loud, but Simone is just a screeching, just holler every time. And there's only so much you could take of that. Like I don't know how they do it. I would literally be like, if you don't put that up somewhere and stop, like all that mouth, like I just like no. So I think I would be on the green team. I think I'm gonna go over there with Dr. Heavenly, Scott and Contessa, and Dr. Damon. Even though I feel like Dr. Damon gonna struggle. I do. I saw that when he started paddling. I said, "Oh yeah, he gonna struggle for real because it looks
Like, come
hard.
on, Damon, y'all got lake houses.
Her teeth, not her screech. I mean, like I said, it's just every time she holler, that's all you see is them teeth. I'm like, Lord Jesus, girl, just stop hollering.
That's why Cecil had that friend all them years.
No, no
Now
lie, no
everybody
logic.
looking at him a certain way, right? But imagine having to hear that voice when you wake up and when you lay your head to pillow at night.
Oh yeah,
That's
you
why
left
he
a
had
hole
that
in the
friend.
sink. Thank you. But yeah, I can hear her now. I can hear her now. It was
Mm-mm.
funny because it's funny you mentioned that. I was watching. It was last year when Carlos and Heavenly used to do the recaps for last season. There was a fan that said since Simone took Jackie to Hilton Head, they said, "How about we take a weekend jaunt to Tammy's next season for the couples trip?" And I
It's a lot quieter over there. And based on the look of Tammy, based on that hair and the back of her arm, she'll probably feed you a good meal too.
Mhm. We talked about this when you had a live. When you was doing what show were you doing? Um, you were doing what's Holly Robinson Pete and her husband's show, and we
Oh,
talked about
Queen's
that one
Court.
lady that was on that show that was the friend that came to show. We said that about her. We said, "Yep, this is Tammy right here."
Yep.
Hmm. Yep,
She quiet, she listen, and she'll feed you. I would have been at Tammy's house too. That's a great friend.
a listening ear in a soundproof basement with drinks. Cecil ain't dumb. Damn. I feel like her voice will overshadow anything that's soundproof.
Can you imagine giving birth and hearing her holler at you? Having a contraction and
I
she
don't
in
think
her
she's
sleep
like that
just
at her job.
talking.
I think she's just like that outside because she probably can't do that at work. So she probably just does it at home, and that's why there's so much of it when she's on camera because she probably just as calm and as peaceful at work. But when she get out of work, it's that loud holler, all them teeth, and just
No, I'm talking about the moms who be struggling, scared to push. I can hear some Paul. I understand you're scared, but this baby's gotta come out right. Put. I can see her hollering when necessary.
I
I'm
can't see. I would hope she don't do
the
that. That is
DM
so
box. I'm cracking
unprofessional.
up in his comment. She called her Bugs Bunny.
No, she called her the Easter Bunny. She didn't say Bugs, but she said the Easter Bunny. But that's just as funny though, because I remember I had just watched that. Like I literally just watched that 2 days ago. When Heavenly was talking about, she talked about Simone's teeth, and she was describing everybody's condition. She said Simone has an overbite and Heavenly has edge to edge, and she said Mariah got recurrent decay, and I almost fell on the floor. I
No.
said not recurrent decay. Heavenly is crazy for that. And she said, and then your breath stinks too, and that's because of the decay. And I said, Heavenly, damn.
I miss when Heavenly and Mariah were on the
Me
show.
too.
I
I I would never think I would miss Mariah. I would never think because I didn't like Mariah. I didn't like Mariah at all. But I felt like when it came to her and Heavenly, I was definitely too dead because those two that Mariah gave Heavenly a run for her
No,
money. She really
Mariah
did.
read everybody for filth in the group. She was an equal opportunity reader. Some of these ladies be acting afraid to read people, and I will agree with Toya on calling them out here and there. But I do miss those days. I do.
Mhm. Absolutely. Bravo, get it right. I would love to see Mariah come back for like a what kind of like a vanity reason, like a just a pop up surprise, I'm here kind of situation. I would be here for it. I really would. But not Cecil when she went into labor.
You don't want to hear that shit.
Maybe she wasn't that loud. Then maybe that's something new that happened.
Some women be in so much pain that they can't make any noise.
Hmm.
They just
Like I
silent.
believe she probably wasn't that loud then. She probably just became loud like her when she got older. Because some women are like that. Some women are just as quiet and poised, and then when they turn 40 or 50, here come this house screeching and hollering. And you're like, what the hell that come from? You used to be so calm. But yes, but that was Married to Medicine, y'all. Didn't nothing much have happened. I guess we're gonna get into the meat and potatoes of it next week. I cannot wait because I want to see this fight between King and Greg. When I tell you I saw Dr. Greg running backwards, I was like, wait a minute, he's pretty good at that. I was like, ooh, Maury to text that to me. Oh my God, Diane, you and Kevin Riddle's been on my ass tonight. What is wrong with y'all? I'll just play. I love y'all. I do. I do. But yeah, I can't wait to see Dr. Greg run backwards. Because King was like he for the shits. So yes, I can't wait to see that. So yeah, I so happy y'all stopped by. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Like the video, get the algorithm going. Make sure you watch my other video for Real Housewives of Potomac we just did before this. Thank you, Mrs. Best, for being here, and I will see you guys on my channel next week. Have a good one. Bye-bye.